Hi, I'm Amy from the Stitchy Duo, also known as 𝐦𝐞𝐧𝐭𝐢𝐴 on Instagram. How are you? I hope you've had a fantastic new year and a very safe Christmas period. I'm here today because I am so keen to do WIP Parade. I've been watching heaps of WIP Parades here on FlossTube, seeing a few also pop up on Instagram, and I was like, you know what, I really want to do that, keep myself accountable. I thought it'd be awesome for future Amy to look back at myself at this time and be like, okay, what WIPs was I working on? Have I finished any? Have I added more? Kind of trying to keep myself accountable. This year I have made the resolution in our last FlossTube video to not buy any more patterns. So I thought maybe doing this to be able to see what WIPs I'm currently working on will make that a little bit easier because I know I need to get these finished. I also have a heap of patterns in my kit. I'm obviously without my best friend Brooke today. No, she has not left me for a better looking floss tuber. We are very much still together. She's just a monogamous stitcher, so that doesn't really work with WIP Parade. So we thought, you know what, hey, I might just do one by myself. We're going to start with a WIP that I've had in my kit for 2 years. I think I've been working on it. In our last FlossTube, I did mention this one, and someone actually asked if they could see it because I mentioned it in a story. So this is the back of it. Let's just see this. See all this fabric. Now I don't need all this fabric. I need to trim it. But the story in the last FlossTube was about the cockroach getting into my excess fabric and me stitching with it for 20 minutes, holding the cockroach probably in my hand under the Q-snap. So someone put in the comments, and thank you everyone who's in commenting on our videos and watching them. They wanted to see my WIP. So this is it. This is my Titanic WIP. So this is actually A Night to Remember by Dimensions. I love Titanic. I love the historical stuff about the ship. So obviously I came in from the movie when I was 9, with my parents showed it to me, and I was like, I love that. And then I became obsessed with it and had that little 9-year-old obsession when you know, find something new and fun and want to learn everything about it, and Titanic was it. So I have so many Titanic books. I even have a Titanic Barbie. I have coal from the ship. I go to every single travelling museum that comes to Australia that I can get to, and I'm a Titanic tragic. I think that's what we call us in the Titanic groups. So this for me was quite eerie watching her come out of essentially the fabric. And I really do love working on it. And so after the cockroach incident, I kind of didn't work on it for a little while. Then I put it out in April last year, and it's probably when I'm going to pull it back out and start it again is April this year. So April is the anniversary of the sinking, and it's just I just like to sit there and kind of work on it. It's a little bit of a memorial for me, for everyone who died in the disaster. Also, I have a fascination with it, with all the stuff that came out of it. So it is kind of fun because I have, obviously this is the front of the ship up here. I have all this here is going to pretty much be DMC 310, and so I actually really enjoy just working on you know, like 10 by 10 segments of black. It's just really it's meditative for me, and I really enjoy it. And this is why I brought my DMC 310 Cone of Doom was for this project, and a few others which I have lots of black in. So yeah, I really love this one. Keen to get back into it. I'm going to put it on my new stitch scroll frame that I got from the secondhand shop. So I am going to trim off this fabric, put it on there, and then hopefully cockroaches won't get into my Titanic. My next one, this is the one I'm currently actively working on, and I started it on New Year's Eve in the car. I was very keen to start this on for a long time, but what put me off was this paper pattern, and I'm a very pattern keeper heavy stitcher, and I wasn't sure how I would go with a paper pattern. Bit the bullet, tried it, also kitted it all up with full DMC, which is unlike me. Usually I use whatever's in my kit that I've got. This is Emily from Corpse Bride, and it is done by Abbie Sue Designs, and so it also came with Victor as well in the pattern, so I've got him to do. Really getting huge dopamine hits, just getting that back stitch done at the same time, just to kind of, you know, see her popping out. Loving it, really loving this. So this is going to be my traveling piece when I'm in the car. This is going to be the piece that I'm doing around the house when my 4-year-old's home and I'm not working, and I just want to be able to pick it up real quick and go. It's just for me. So kind of when I say that, I mean like I'm not meticulous about how the back looks and how neat it is. I'm kind of just doing it for fun. My other pieces I do. So the next one, for example, I'm really meticulous about the back and trying really hard to keep it neat, just for my own fun, I suppose. This is also my new Nurch frames. So my mum got me a full set for Christmas, which is really great. I now understand why everyone loves these frames. I'm usually a Q-snap girl, or just a general hoop. But these are fantastic, and you know, I'm still going to use my Q-snaps. I'm not fully converted, but love them. Love the way they tighten. Love the color. Thanks, Mum. And it's just holds it so nice. So yeah, really enjoying this stitch though. I did check her Instagram, the designer's Instagram, last night. Went over to her Etsy store and I couldn't find the pattern available anymore. So if you are interested in it, you may need to message the designer. But yeah, it seems like she's not selling anymore, which is a shame. It makes me really happy I grabbed it when I did. My next WIP, kind of hard to see what it is, but this is the wing of a bee. So this is my Mandela bee by Awesome Pattern Studio. I have so many Mandela patterns by them, and yet this is the one I bought in November and have already started. Have not started any of the others. Unlike my previous two WIPs, which were done on 14 count 𝐬𝐈𝐿, this is done on even weave 28 count and is a 2/2. I am not using the colors called for. I used what was in my kit, and I think it's actually coming out quite nice. I love doing a Mandela. I'm a little bit addicted to them, but they also annoy me with the amount of times I need to tie off, change to a new color. So I like to be working on a Mandela and maybe something more simple with less colors. It just kind of keeps me going through. But yeah, really enjoying this one. My aim, I actually have an aim for some of these to have a done date. So my Titanic piece, it will get done in the next, or who knows. My Corpse Bride piece, I'm moving along quite quickly. I'm nearly done one of 2 pages, so I think that will probably be done quite quickly. But this one, I would like this done by April. So I've set myself a goal to get it done. So I make sure that I work on this and another one I have set to be done for April every night, just to see if I can get through it. Because I don't get to stitch that much. My son hasn't been going to bed until about 9:30. So I get up and I stitch then, and it's not like I can't stitch with him. I obviously can. I've been doing the Corpse Bride one. It's just a little bit harder. He's quite he's quite touchy at the moment and always on top of me and knocks my stuff everywhere, and he's also really into cutting things, so sometimes he tries to cut my thread, which is really annoying, but otherwise he's pretty good. Moving on to the next WIP. So this one is from one of my new favorite designers. So this is Raven Stitchcraft, and I have so many of their patterns. I'm part of their free tier on their Patreon, so you can get some cool free patterns off there. If you're into the more kind of gothic witchy vibes, which look, I would only stitch these most of the time probably, but I do sometimes really love a bit of Mandela and colour. But I love these patterns. I wish I had more time to stitch. I wish I could just stitch and get paid and not have to work, so I could just work on all of these patterns. This is the Woodburn Kraken. So what's great about this is that they literally says, so the designer says, you know, you either stitch like what I've stitched, obviously the Kraken, or, you know, they've also charted out the internals so that you could have kind of a negative space kind of feel for your cross stitch, which is pretty cool. I think I might do one of their Woodburns and do that one time. I absolutely love Krakens, which is from my Pirates of the Caribbean fandom. I'm just obsessed. But I also watched a really cool documentary on octopuses last year, so I've kind of got really into the octopus Kraken vibe. If Brooke was here, she is the octopus queen. You should see her massive crochet one she's made. She loves them. She's all about marine life. But mine's a bit more from enjoying pirates than actual marine life. So yeah, this is my Kraken. So the problem with this one that I'm having, and why I've actually put it down, because this was my main piece for September, October, November, like one of my main WIPs that I was working on, is that there is a line through this beautiful banana rustic 14 count that has an extra piece has been weaved through. Now I didn't notice this until I was kind of too far gone to get a different piece of fabric, or maybe try and, you know, I've since thought maybe I can try and pull it out, but it wasn't really working. And so I've had to try and figure out where to put how to do the cross, so it's not as obvious as the usual 𝐬𝐈𝐿 that you would use. So to try and make sure that it's the same size, it's actually been really quite difficult. I've done this side okay. I'm now up to this side, and it's kind of not matching the workaround I did for this side, which is really annoying. Anyway, I put it down. I just need to get past that one line, and then I'll be, you know, home free and ready to go. So I do really enjoy working on it though, getting the black cone of doom out for that one. This next one is a current main whip, and this is one that I would like done by April. So this is the back of my cross stitch doll. If you watch our very first FlossTube, I show my finish of the front of the doll. So this is out of the book My Cross Stitch Doll by Susan Bates, and the cross stitch doll pattern is Amy. So she's a blonde haired pink dress ballerina. Not mine. I wanted to make her a bit like me. When I was 5, I really wanted to be a ballerina. So I once had purple hair and I prefer the more alternative look, so I'm making an alternative one. The designer has liked my stuff on Instagram about it, so I think she's happy about it. I hope so anyway. But I'm real keen to get this done by April, and then it'll be the task of sewing her together, which I'm really excited to do. I'm very into dolls at the moment. Been making lots of crochet dolls, so I'm really excited to get the cross stitch doll done to add to my collection. I'm not usually a doll person, but I've just got a thing for them at the moment. Enjoying using scroll frame. It is a bit loose at the moment because I've unscrolled it to show you guys the current state of the whip. And to be honest with you, the way this one's working up, I might even have it done in the next 2 weeks, which will be really exciting. So maybe the next FlossTube me and Brooke do, it will be my finish. Next one, Christmas whip. This is the only Christmas whip that I have in my stash. So I did show this in our last FlossTube. It is a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation quote. The pattern is called Nuthouse, and it is by Stitch Area. So got a lot of work done on this compared to when we did our FlossTube over Christmas. This will be going away now until got fluff on all of them. Whoops. This will be going away now until probably November this year. I don't really stitch Christmas outside of Christmas. I have previously, and yeah, I enjoy it more getting into the Christmas spirit, watching Christmas movies than stitching Christmas. I'm also not a Christmas in July person, so, but I'm really enjoying it. Not far off being done the quotes. Yeah, so last time I stitched this was on Christmas Eve, and that was a lovely Christmas Eve, just sitting there stitching this and watching the Santa Claus actually. Usually this is my Christmas Eve movie, but I knew I wouldn't have time of having to get everything ready and play Santa. So we watched it the day before, which was good. Speaking of movies and shows, if you are an Outlander fan, you're my new best friend. Are you enjoying the second half of season 7? Because I am, and I am stitching this while watching it. I stitched this only while watching Outlander. It's been really fun, and again in my new nerd hoop in the larger size, because yes, Mum bought me the full set, which was so exciting. Did not expect that. So this is called Outlander. So I bought this off Etsy originally from a designer, and they were called Quote Stitch, but they now changed their name to ValValtoys and don't seem to be doing cross stitch designs anymore. I did try to Google search the image to try and find it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I really hope that it was a legit one, but it's stitching up nice, and there was there's no designer on the pattern. So they did have a few patterns on there though, so they did look pretty legit. I usually do a lot of research before I buy, but here it is. So I have changed it. I'm doing short and long stitch embroidery here for the standing stone. I just wanted to give it that really nice texture because I'm planning to display this just in a hoop. I thought Jamie came out quite nice, and now I'm on to Claire. They do have the intro song lyrics going around them, which I'm deciding if I'm going to do or not. I'm not sure yet, but I'm really enjoying Saturday nights, just sitting down, chilling, watching the new Outlander episode and stitching this. It's also because I'm not trying to get it done. When I'm watching Outlander, because it's new, I will stop for a minute and watch. So this kind of helps me not have to think with the black and doing the outline. I just kind of, fill in. It's like kind of paint by numbers, so just kind of like fill in the space. Really enjoying this fabric. It is tartan off Amazon, and I wasn't sure how Amazon fabric would go, but it's actually quite soft, and it's actually a pleasure to stitch in. And what's quite interesting is watching obviously we all know DMC 310 coverage is often quite poor, but it's actually interesting to see it over these darker, you can tell when I've gone over a darker square because the coverage looks a bit better. So yeah, really enjoying doing my Outlander piece. It's my happy time on the Saturday night, sitting there and getting to do that. My next one is actually for my son, and I really need to get this finished because he's turning 5 in June, and I think he's at the perfect age for it, and he's learning to read and he's learning to spell, and I think this just needs to get it up in his playroom. So this is A is For by Durene Jones. I love her. She's one of my favorite designers. She has heaps of patterns in a lot of cross stitching magazine that I subscribe to as well. So I have heaps of her patterns stored. She's just great because she's a graphic designer, and so I think that's why she's so brilliant at her designing and backstitch. Like, look at these. These are also fantastic dopamine hits. When you've been going through a long stitch of a long project, you know, to spend one night working on a letter and it's done. My original goal was to do one letter a week, and you know, that would have taken me, you know, so long to get done, and I was working well towards that while watching Survivor. It was like my Survivor night, I'd be stitching this. And then I just stopped. So this is how far we got. So you can tell how many weeks I actually got through it. But I am definitely going to finish this year. I don't really have too much to go when you look at it. But definitely needs to get done, just because I don't want him to age out of being able to have it in his playroom. Whereas it's just going to go straight into my study after that. But yeah, that's for him. And I'm really just loving how cute the little designs are on that. It's just beautiful. She has beautiful designs. Talking about my son, he also requested that he wanted a cross stitch for his door. And so what I'm planning to do is, I've got a stitch here, but what I'm planning to do is, once it's done, it's framed, I'm going to get my Cricut, put his name on the front of the glass. It's going to be kind of like his door sign. So this is the stitch for him. I think it's kind of hard to see. So it is called Croissant Cockatoo, and it is by, I'm probably going to butcher this last name, so I'm so sorry, Jen. Jen Tuyet. She posted in the Australian Cross Stitchers Facebook group that some of her new designs that she's released, a lot of Australian designs. So this is going to be a cockatoo sitting on a no stopping sign over here. And I was like, I love that. So my son has a puppet, and it's a cockatoo, and he calls it Birdie, and that is his favorite toy. So this is Birdie in cross stitch form to sit on his door. I did not use the colors called for, really. I kind of just pulled out of my stash. I pulled a yellow that was too yellow, and that's kind of why I've put it down. It sort of annoyed me a little bit. I really just need to get stuck into this one. I think it's only about 2,500 stitches, so it should be quite an easy finish. But yeah, I kind of got annoyed and just put it down. So this one's done on blue 14 count. I wasn't too sure whether I should put these ones in here, but I thought floss, you know, I'm using cross stitch floss for this, and I kind of really just wanted to show it because I think it's beautiful. I dabbled in black work last year, and so these are my unfinished WIPs. So this is my Humphrey the Whale by Purple Rose Embroidery, and I really enjoyed doing this. This was my road trip last year. I went on an 18-hour from home to destination road trip. We went through the centre of Australia slightly, and so this came back covered in dust. I've had to wash it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's completely different to cross stitch. Here I was thinking it'd be quicker than cross stitch. I don't think it is. I think cross stitch is quicker in a way. I don't know. It's just so intricate. And I will say I definitely enjoy cross stitch more. Like, I would never not say that. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching him come out. I'm kind of hoping I have enough room. I think I underestimated the amount of fabric I was going to need for this, but it is done on beautiful fabrics. This is by Daisy Chain Stitchery. I don't know if you can see, but I think it's a duck egg one, but it kind of looks a bit like the ocean, so I thought it would be nice for the whale. So I don't know if I'm going to get that finished. Every time I go to the Sydney Royal Easter Show, I see the black work and I get inspired to do it, and then I never finish it. So this was another black work that I did, and I absolutely love this. I will finish this year. Yes, I did rip my hair out stitching with full metallic thread for all of this. It was a challenge, and it is probably why I've put it down for a little bit. I put it down to move on to something else. Close up, it doesn't look as nice as it looks far back, just with the metallic thread. Just did not play ball. I did not use beeswax or anything. I just went for it. So yeah, that's that. But I will get this finished this year, and it'll be up on my wall and will look lovely from afar. So yeah, back to cross stitch now. So this one is actually it's probably one of my favorite WIPs that I've got going at the moment, and I am such a sucker for skeletons in love. So this is it. If you've watched our first floss tube, this was in there as it was done for part of my Halloween stitch. It's not something that I will only stitch for Halloween. This is a stitch that I will just work on. I love working on the more kind of gothic kind of stitches. I have a heap of gothic patterns. I may not look like it with what I do stitch, but I really prefer to stitch this kind of stuff than probably anything else. I really do love the skeletons. I don't know why I don't work on them more. I think it's because I don't know, I am a sucker for animals as well, and I do love a good Mandela, watching all the colours come out, but these bring me the most joy when they're up in my house. So I do have another one I finished of skeletons. What were they skeletons kissing. 2 years ago I was working on that WIP, count of my memories the other day. So I'm hoping to get this one done soon so they can be kind of bookends on my wall. So this is called the Skeleton Lovers by Raven Stitchcraft. And again, Raven Stitchcraft, they're just fantastic. And it is based on the Lover's Tarot card. And I have completely done this skeleton now, which was a finish I did for Halloween. And now I'm just getting onto the other skeleton, and then it has a little bit of a border to go around it. So this will be something that I think I'm going to probably pick back up, probably about after July is my goal, is around then to sort of pick this back up and get it done. So I'm putting it here, a resolution for the year is to get this one done by December, but we will see. But I'm sure the spooky period of Halloween will get me into it. So usually I quite often get distracted by crochet. So when my anxiety, if you follow me on Instagram, I struggle quite significantly with anxiety, and that's what my Instagram is kind of based on, is stitching to help my anxiety. But when my anxiety is very, very high, sometimes I move to crochet. It's just the speed of it. I don't have to think about it. It's just a bit different. So often I get distracted, and this is why I have these WIPs and I'm like, I want to get this done. I've had them for a while, and they're not like big full coverage WIPs that some people would have for a few years. It's literally because I get distracted by doing crochet, or life can be busy, especially when you're a mum of a little one that doesn't give you much time to yourself. But hey, I thought I'd put this one in. This has never featured on my Instagram. This has never featured anywhere. Don't judge me with this WIP. I don't know if I can hardly call it a WIP because it's been living in the bottom of a box for 4 years. This was, or maybe even 5 years now, this was the first non-card cross stitch that I started when I re-picked up cross stitch as an adult. And it was during COVID time, so the pattern's actually called Wear a Damn Mask, and it's from the Stitch Lovers shop. I bought a heap of patterns from that shop off Etsy one afternoon. I can completely remember me sitting there doing it on the computer. It's funny the things you remember vividly. And I was like, okay, I've just bought some big patterns. Oh wow, I need to go and do these. And this is the one I started with, and I changed. This was meant to be black, and I was like, I'm going to do a grey, which actually kind of made it hard to distinguish where I would be changing it from, because it kind of all goes in together. And I think that's why I haven't picked it back up, because the brain wavelength I was on then, I'm not on now. But I have been thinking about lately, because I've been thinking about this red fabric and how beautiful it is. So I am considering finishing it off, but also you can tell I was so new, because look how much space I left here, like hardly any space. This was when I was like, I have limited fabric stash from my mum, I need to go close, and didn't even think about how are you gonna put this on the wall, Amy. But I was actually surprised when I pulled this out earlier to get it ready to do this video, is how neat the back was on it. I was like, oh, considering it was one of my first ones, I expected it to look basically like trash, and it didn't. So but yeah, there you go. That is my WIP parade. I'm sorry, it is not as exciting as some other floss tubers who have amazing amount of WIPs. But this is my WIP parades. These are the things that I'm proud of. I do plan to probably start some new ones as well soon. Look, I'm giving myself till April to try and keep this under control. And I'm just going to start a heap of WIPs, maybe even before then. Real keen. I'm going on a big road trip in July, so I'm excited to pick a new road trip WIP. I seem to have one every year. But yeah, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to come over to my Instagram and have a chat, I would absolutely love that. I love connecting with new cross stitch friends, and thank you to everyone who's come over in the last week. I've had a bit of a bump in followers, and thank you so much. It's been really nice to connect with you all. I post updates on this, post updates on mental health when it comes to stitching, but it is all very craft related. Also, me and Brooke are planning a new floss tube, so we will have one out hopefully, you know, before the end of January. I think at the moment we're trying to do one every month, and she apparently has one that she's not shown me that she's working on that she will have finished for our video. So I'm going to be surprised as you are. So her keeping secrets from me, I don't know if I like this, but no, it's great. I can't wait to see what she's been working on, and it'll be really exciting to see how much we get done. So yeah, look, thank you so much for joining me again for the WIP Parade. All the details will be in the description below, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. Bye.